Samantha was known throughout the capital as the untouchable princess. She was obsessed with standing out in a crowd. Merely dressing like someone else was enough to send her into a furious rage, just for a casual remark like, "Wow, that waitress has eyes so much like yours." Someone paid with their actual eye. She gave a command, and her henchmen swiftly acted, gouging out the eye and throwing the person into the sea. Everything was executed with the chilling efficiency of an express delivery. Just like that, my only living relative, the last person in the world to hold my hand, was gone forever. Then fate intervened. A nameless, faceless nobody, entered her life as a stand-in. Using a slight resemblance, I meticulously transformed myself, step by step, into her. The very thing Samantha despised with bitter hatred, being a copy, became my weapon to systematically strip away everything from her world. My mother's body was brought before me, along with a check for $2 million. I held the pen, signing the settlement document without a tremor in my hand or a flicker in my eyes. After her funeral, I embarked on a new life, spending money like water. I immersed myself in beauty treatments, bought designer clothes as if possessed, and enrolled in countless classes on art, etiquette, and social graces. Neighbors gossiped. Poor Evelyn worked her whole life raising her child only to invite karma. She raised a viper. I didn't bother to react, let them say what they wished. Soon, everything faded, my mother's death slowly sinking into oblivion. The same people who had once scoffed now praised. "Naya is getting more beautiful by the day, isn't she? Which aesthetic clinic did she go to? They're magicians." I merely smiled, offering no reply. What was there to say? This face was a refined replica of Samantha's features. She was the renowned princess of the capital, after all. Beauty was simply inevitable. Samantha's name alone was enough to send netizens into a frenzy. Her romance with Liam, the scion of the influential Liu family, once rocked the entire entertainment industry. They grew up together, seemingly a fated couple, yet Liam was famously a womanizer. One woman after another passed through his life, making their relationship an endless cycle of breaking up and making up. Most recently, he was involved with a young actress who even became pregnant. On magazine covers, they were pictured hand in hand, intimately like a romantic movie. But not long after, she tragically fell down the stairs, dying along with her unborn child. Her passing left no ripple, because at the same time, the hot search trends were already dominated by topics like Princess Samantha ran away, Liam and Samantha are fighting again. How long until they get back together? No one really cared about that death. Fans were only curious if the two would reconcile this time. Samantha immediately posted online that she was abroad, dedicated to honing her acting skills, with no intention of returning home. The neutral faction started murmuring, "Doesn't she have several projects waiting to be filmed? Is it really okay to just ditch them like this?" Her fans, however, retaliated swiftly. "Get my sister out of that rubbish. Others are just entertainment for the rich, but Samantha is * the rich. You don't have to like it because she's already at the top." After Samantha went silent, people noticed a new girl by Liam's side. Her face bore an 80% resemblance to Samantha's. Fans weren't surprised. "Oh, the 18th Hwan has arrived." After every fight between Liam and Samantha, a girl similar to her would appear. Fans even nicknamed these stand-ins Hwan, numbering them for easy identification. To them, the Hwans were proof of Liam's love for Samantha. Like in the drama, Empresses in the Palace, where the emperor loved someone only because she resembled his deceased empress. CEO Liu is up to his old tricks again. Can't get his girlfriend back, so he finds a substitute. This 18th Hwan really does look alike. I wonder where he dug her up. But how could I not resemble her? I was clinging to Liam's arm, leaning gently against his shoulder like a timid little bird. This face was the result of years of painstaking sculpting. My mother, Evelyn, had eyes very similar to Samantha's, but my resemblance was even stronger, from my gaze to the contours of my face. I had meticulously undergone surgery on every detail, from the shape of my nose to the corners of my lips, precisely following the original model, just so he wouldn't discover my secret. I dared not go to large hospitals for fear of being investigated, always having to seek out illicit, unmarked clinics with questionable skills. I accepted the risks, even the possibility of dying on the operating table, just to perfect myself little by little. 3 arduous years and all my savings, I had built this face for myself. It was my ticket into the glittering world I had only dared to observe from afar. How could I not resemble her? Soon enough, I had the honor of my own dedicated forum thread. Has Hwan 18 been dumped yet? In truth, I wasn't the only one to receive this special attention. My 17 predecessors also had similar forums, created by bored netizens obsessed with tracking Liam and Samantha's tangled on-again, off-again relationship. He was the type who loved novelty and quickly grew tired of the old, changing partners as often as he changed clothes. Each girl he chose as a Samantha lookalike lasted a maximum of 25 days. In extreme cases, some were discarded after just 72 hours. Thus, the Liam-Samantha fan club actively updated daily, recording the survival record of each stand-in, while simultaneously betting on how long I could last beside that philandering man. Most bet I wouldn't make it past the first month. Although a few optimists suggested, this one might break the one-month jinx. She really does look like Samantha, no joke. But even then, no one predicted I'd survive 3 months. And then I stunned everyone. A month passed and I was still there. 3 months later, I hadn't gone anywhere. 6 months, I was still by his side. 10 months, Liam publicly announced his desire to get engaged to me. The entire web exploded. That very night, Samantha booked a flight home, not even waiting for dawn. That evening, Liam held me in his arms, his fingertips idly tracing my face as if in play. "By then, if you know what's good for you, don't say anything silly," he murmured, a soft command. I simply smiled, obediently replied, "Yes," and set about choosing his outfit for his reunion with his ex the next day. News of my engagement to Liam sent netizens into a frenzy. Most mercilessly criticized me, only a rare few speculated that this was a ploy to ignite Samantha's jealousy. They were absolutely right. For almost an entire year, she had vanished, refusing to return. Liam, having run out of patience, decided to make his final move. As for me, I cooperated wholeheartedly. The reason I lasted so long, beyond this phase, was my ability to stay silent, to obey, and to endure to the point of losing all self-respect. He loved competitive shooting games, so I delved into studying and practicing until I could fight alongside him every day. He craved walnuts, and I'd peel them until my fingernails chipped and fingertips cracked. He drank alcohol like water, and wanting to stop him, I recklessly drank along. Someone who had never touched a drop of alcohol gulped down 2 kilos of local wine, ultimately perforating my stomach and nearly dying. From that time on, he gradually gave up alcohol and later even cigarettes. His friends initially saw me as mere amusement, teasing me for fun. But as time passed, a few began to feel uneasy. "Liam, the girl is pitiful. If you keep this up, what if you ruin her life later?" Liam frowned, waving his hand. "Mind your own business." One of them even chuckled. "Liam, let me know when you're bored. I'll take her off your hands." With that, he squeezed my waist painfully, so disgustingly I wanted to vomit. Immediately, Liam snatched a wine bottle and smashed it straight onto the man's head, then stomped on the hand that had just touched me. So you see, he did have a small space for me in his heart, didn't he? Otherwise, I wouldn't have dared to show him that ridiculous romantic drama. The film was about a man who faked a marriage with another woman to provoke the female lead, making her rush to stop the wedding in the middle of the ceremony. In the end, they understood each other, reunited in a wedding dress, and lived happily ever after. CEO Lou absorbed the lesson incredibly fast, copying it exactly. Now, all that was left was for the female lead to return, and the perfect play could begin. Samantha returned home, and close friends organized a welcome party for her at a luxurious bar. In a lavish private room, I sat nestled in Liam's lap. He casually draped an arm around my waist, intimately. He knew perfectly well I hated noisy atmospheres like this, and he knew even more that I disliked overt displays of affection in public. He also couldn't have forgotten the perforated stomach incident that left me unable to touch alcohol. But tonight, in front of Samantha, he pressed a glass of red wine into my hand, ordering me to feed it to him with my mouth. I simply lowered my gaze, nodding submissively, and complied. Before my lips could even touch his, a hand grabbed my hair from behind, yanking it back violently. Samantha stood there, her face crimson with rage, pushing me away with one hand. The wine glass shattered, glass shards cutting my hand, and blood mingled with red wine, staining my white dress. Liam didn't even bother to look at me. He curled his lip, looking directly at Samantha. "What do you think you're doing, Miss Samantha? I'm kissing my girlfriend. What concern is it of yours?" His voice was cold, emotionless. Samantha's eyes reddened. You win, Liam. I admit I haven't forgotten you. Are you satisfied now? He didn't answer, merely offered a faint smile. Samantha burst into tears, sobbing as she said, I know you did all this just to provoke me, but you know I hate sharing the man I love with anyone else. Why did you choose this cheap imitation to play my stand-in? With that, she turned and walked away, tears streaming down her face. Laughter erupted throughout the room, mixed with a few teasing remarks. Mr. Liu, you were a bit harsh, weren't you? What are you waiting for? Go after Miss Samantha. Liam frowned slightly, clicked his tongue in annoyance, then stood up, leaving me behind to chase after Samantha. Everyone laughed as if watching a familiar comedy. They all understood that I was merely a pawn, used at the right moment, an excuse to provoke his ex-girlfriend. No one questioned Liam's feelings for Samantha. No one believed that engagement was real. From beginning to end, I was just an unnamed supporting character, a meaningless shadow in their magnificent drama. I stood up amidst the fading laughter, slowly adjusting my dress and calmly said, Excuse me, I'll be leaving first. The laughter faltered, as if they suddenly remembered I was still present. Without looking back, I walked out of the room filled with gazes that weren't for me. Leaving the bar, I immediately found a cheap motel and quietly stayed there for 3 days. During those 3 days, I did exactly 3 things: slept, ordered food, and thought of nothing else. I was perfectly content. On the 3rd day, Liam appeared. He looked as if he'd just stumbled out of a storm, disheveled hair, bloodshot eyes, a bristly beard, still in the same clothes from Samantha's welcome party. I feigned surprise, then quickly regained my usual gentle demeanor. Why are you looking for me? What about you and Samantha? Did you two talk things out? He didn't bother to answer. Liam's murky gaze locked onto me, as if I were a debt he hadn't yet collected. Where have you been for the past 3 days? Why didn't you come home? His voice was hoarse, as if he was trying to suppress something. I took a step back, my voice light and airy. Now that Samantha is back, it's not convenient for me to stay there. Liam froze, as if struck where he least expected it. He frowned, snapping, What are you implying? I offered a knowing smile. You don't have to worry. I'll clean out everything, so Samantha won't be bothered by any trace of me in that house. He stared at me, disbelieving. You mean you're breaking up with me? I calmly nodded. Samantha has returned. Shouldn't I know my place and withdraw? Are you dreaming? He roared, stepping forward and clamping his hand tightly around my wrist. His grip was bone-crushing, but he didn't let go. Instead, he pulled me closer. Liam's eyes were like 2 burning coals, his voice hissing through his teeth. I haven't said to let go. By what right do you withdraw on your own? I tried to suppress the pain, my eyes also reddening. You and she are about to get back together. What reason do I have to stay? To intrude on your relationship? Liam, I am not that lowly. He flinched, pausing for a moment. Clearly, he had never considered that I would willingly step out of this game, yet the arrogance ingrained in his blood quickly brushed aside any emotion. So what? What if you're the third party? I can support you as long as you're obediently by my side. I won't let you suffer any disadvantage. Smack, I slapped him. My eyes brimming with tears, I stared directly into the face of the man I once loved. Liam, you've gone too far. Do you think I'm the kind of woman who clings to a man for a little profit, without self-respect or shame? Do you think I can't live without you? I gritted my teeth, my voice trembling, but each word was as hard as steel. I followed you because I loved you, because my feelings for you were real, not because I'm some pathetic dog wagging its tail, hoping for a pat. I could be rejected 1,000 times and it wouldn't matter. Given a chance, I would still move forward. But if you found the person you truly love again, I paused, my eyes shining with the last shred of my self-respect. Then I'm sorry, I no longer have any reason to walk towards you. Liam, from now on, let's not meet again. For you, for me, and for Samantha. Before I could finish, his tall figure lunged forward. His face was purple with rage. Without a word, he ripped off his tie and bound my 2 hands tightly. Naya, he still called my name, but his voice was terrifyingly cold, utterly devoid of warmth, unfamiliar. I've spoiled you too much, haven't I? You've forgotten your place. It seems it's time to teach you a proper lesson. I was held captive by Liam like a precious object, guarded every minute, every second. He clung to me, never leaving my side, as if I would vanish the moment he turned his back. For 30 days, he wore a facade of gentleness I had never seen, as if he had transformed into a completely different person. Luxurious goods of all kinds were constantly delivered, bespoke items, meticulously chosen details, as if he were worshipping a goddess. Not stopping there, he even generously transferred ownership of lavish villas and expensive supercars to me, as if money meant nothing. Even the ingrained arrogance of a spoiled rich boy was reined in, replaced by an overly tender and solicitous demeanor. Naya, you should think carefully. Without me, can you still live like this? Don't be mistaken, he never respected me. Everything was just a flawless performance, building a silken cage to imprison me, making me willingly become a canary trapped in a luxurious but hollow existence. I looked at Liam with eyes as cold as ice, refusing to bow my head. You're already engaged to Samantha, yet you're still trying to keep me by your side. Liam, do you find this whole situation amusing? Indeed, Liam was about to marry Samantha. Social media erupted with joy over the Liam-Samantha couple. Their fans celebrated as if it were an early new year. As for me, the one cast out of the game, I became a punching bag for public opinion, mercilessly mocked and cursed. Liam, let me go. I am in PH. The moment I brought up leaving him, Liam immediately shed his gentle facade. He revealed his true form, a harsh oppressor. He bit hard into my lip until it bled, not a shred of hesitation, simply to silence me. Don't challenge my limits, Naya. His face was icy. I remained silent, feigning confrontation, but deep inside, I was laughing. I laughed because he didn't understand me, nor did he truly understand himself. He failed to realize that he spent more time with me than with his fiancé. Even for important matters like wedding dress fittings, he would use being busy as an excuse. In reality, his work that day involved caring for me when I had sudden menstrual cramps, from buying medicine and brewing brown sugar water to placing a warm hand on my stomach to soothe the pain. Only after I drifted to sleep did he call Samantha, his soon-to-be wife, just to utter 2 words. Not available. I was sleeping beside him then, letting out a soft groan. I'm sure she heard me. Given Samantha's personality, she couldn't sit still after hearing that. If before she was only annoyed by my resemblance to her, now she must have sensed the true danger. It was the first time Liam had lied to her, and it was for another woman, right before a crucial event like a wedding dress fitting. I was certain she had begun to worry, and she wasn't the type to patiently wait for the outcome. True to my prediction, just half a month later, with only a week left until the wedding day, Liam unexpectedly had urgent business and left the villa. The moment he departed, Samantha stormed in, bringing a group of people with her. You filthy bitch! Her servants forced me to my knees. I could only look up at her face, contorted with rage, wild jealousy. Her long fingernail traced a long scratch across my cheek. She was insane. Slap after slap rained down on my face, relentless and merciless. It wasn't until the 24th strike, when her hand was burning with pain, that she finally stopped. Her breath came in gasps, her eyes filled with hatred, a cold, sneering laugh escaping her lips. Do you think just because you have a face like mine, you can take everything? A lowly thing like you is just a plaything for him. Your kind of status, I'm afraid of dirtying my hands by even touching you. Do you actually dare to compete with me? With that, she turned and gestured. A servant brought a basin of water. Samantha slowly commanded, wash that disgusting face clean yourself and I'll pretend nothing happened. I couldn't help but laugh. This face of mine was a product of plastic surgery based on her asterisk face. If I was lowly, then what was she? The original from the lowly factory. And that basin of water, no need to guess, was definitely not clean. I recalled that among the 17 stand-ins before me, one looked exactly like Samantha. She had been splashed with acid in the street by someone. Her face was severely disfigured, requiring dozens of surgeries just to be considered human again. Now, as I watched the basin of water approaching, fear began to creep into my expression, but in my mind I was only counting down. 5-4. What the hell are you all doing? Liam's furious, growling voice suddenly cut through the chaotic space. He was breathless, each gasp as if he had raced against time, clearly rushing back without a moment's hesitation. In my heart, I secretly applauded Aunt Wu, the quick-witted housekeeper who had retreated in time to discreetly call for help. Luckily, he arrived just in time. Despite being mentally prepared, I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Samantha, even caught red-handed, remained expressionless, not a hint of fear. She curled her lip, smirking provocatively, then commanded as if nothing had happened, "Don't just stand there, continue." At her signal, a henchman immediately lunged to seize me, intending to force my head into the basin of water in front of me. Enough, let go. In a critical moment, Liam rushed forward like a whirlwind, delivering a vicious kick directly to the wrist of the man holding the basin. The basin of water flew upwards, its contents splashing everywhere, but somehow not a single drop touched me. Ironically, the person standing directly opposite me was Samantha. Ah! Her throat-shredding scream echoed throughout the villa, signaling the start of a tragedy. Though the liquid had only slightly corroded her dress and splattered a few drops onto her thigh, the physical damage wasn't severe enough. What truly pained her was her torn self-esteem. Because Liam, the man she loved, had chosen to hurt her to save me. Samantha's eyes instantly reddened, and she looked at him as if she couldn't believe what she had just witnessed. "You treat me like this for that woman?" Liam didn't bother to respond. His gaze didn't linger on her at all. Instead, he bent down close to examine my face, which had just endured a rain of slaps, asking worriedly, "Are you okay? Did any of it get on you?" Samantha's anger erupted like a volcano. She screamed, completely losing her usual elegant composure. "You care about her asterisk, Liam. Do you remember who you're about to marry? What do you mean by treating me this way?" It was as if only then did he bother to turn and look at her. That look was colder than the winter wind, and when his voice rang out, each word carried an invisible blade that cut deep into the heart of the person opposite him. "If you dare to come near Naya again, even once, then this wedding doesn't have to happen." Samantha froze. She stood motionless in the room, her eyes filled with bewilderment, tears streaming down her face unendingly. Before her was the man she deeply loved, openly protecting another girl, holding her as if she were a precious treasure, not hesitating to push Samantha away and warn her off mercilessly. She had dreamed throughout her childhood that she would definitely marry Liam when she grew up, and he had once promised her, "I will only love you my whole life." But now, everything had become a cruel game. She stood rooted to the spot for a very long time, only able to watch Liam gently comfort and coax me, never once glancing at her. Finally, with a trembling voice, she quietly spoke. "I understand, Liam. I'll be good. I'll obediently wait for you to come and get me. Please don't be cold to me, okay?" The woman who had once held her head high like a princess, for the first time revealed a pitiable, vulnerable demeanor, and in front of the very person she had always despised. I just wanted to burst out laughing and roll on the floor. Liam clearly wavered, the arm around me tightening a little more, as if he wanted to engrave me into his very flesh and blood. After a moment, he softly replied. Samantha led her entourage out of the villa. She kept her word, no longer returning to cause trouble. I knew she truly loved him and took this marriage very seriously. Otherwise, she wouldn't have swallowed her pride to beg for his affection like that. But alas, princess, once I had managed to sway Liam's heart towards me, I could do it again and again. The scales of affection had tipped, and no matter how much she tried to blind and deafen herself, she couldn't salvage the obvious. The centuries' wedding between Liam and Samantha was praised by the media as a modern-day fairy tale. Everywhere I went, I heard people discussing it, oohing and eyeing. Even the screens in the hospital lobby were live-streaming the wedding. Today, the bride was truly magnificent. A pristine white wedding dress, a bouquet of lilies in her hands, pure as a dream. But why, behind all that perfection, did a heart full of darkness hide? Her smile shone brightly, radiant as if she had achieved the greatest dream of her life, as if she had grasped something priceless and irreplaceable. Only I noticed her clenching Liam's sleeve, straining as if afraid that if she let go, everything would slip through her fingers. Only I clearly saw his expression, cold and indifferent, as if he were standing somewhere else entirely, not at his own wedding. He didn't smile at all, not a single smile from beginning to end. The MC's booming voice rang out, "Mr. Liam, do you take Miss Samantha as your wife, to cherish and love her in poverty or in sickness, in life or in death?" At that very moment, Liam's phone in his pocket unexpectedly rang. Samantha reflexively reached out to stop him, but Liam answered without hesitation. In a flash, his face turned pale as if splashed with cold water, then gradually hardened. Although I couldn't clearly hear what was being said on the other end, I could guess. Perhaps Aunt Wu had reported that I had left. Who knew, maybe she even conveniently added a few shocking details. There's an ultrasound paper in her room. She's 3 months pregnant, young master. The scene was too clear, causing everyone around to murmur and speculate. Samantha, standing right beside him, couldn't possibly have not heard. Her face instantly turned ashen, her eyes bewildered. Her eyelashes were soaked with tears, an arrogant little princess now on the verge of collapsing with just one phone call. "Liam, don't go, please don't go." All eyes in the wedding hall, as if mesmerized, fell upon the two of them. The girl whom the entire capital hailed as a celestial being on earth was clinging to a man, trembling like a child afraid of being abandoned. Liam turned his head, his gaze like a cold blade cutting through the air, frowning at her for a second. Then, without a word, he brushed her hand away. He offered no explanation, no backward glance, simply strode out of the wedding hall, so decisively that one might think he was rushing to the only place that could make him abandon everything. Samantha collapsed to the floor, staring blankly at his receding figure. She reached out her hand, unconsciously wanting to hold onto the hem of the man she loved, but when she touched only air, she realized she had nothing left. She had lost him completely. The entire wedding had now turned into a farce, guests whispering, social media exploding from the sheer shock. As for me, standing in a hidden corner of the hospital lobby, I laughed with tears streaming down my face. Not from joy, but from the bitter irony disguised beneath that dry laughter. At the very moment she thought she had achieved the most perfect happiness, she ended up with nothing. Samantha, that's my wedding gift to you. Satisfied. A second before the operating room doors closed, Liam found me. He stormed in like a hurricane, his eyes bloodshot, staring at me without blinking. "Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant?" I lowered my eyes, avoiding his gaze, and gently placed a hand on my abdomen. "What for? Weren't you on your way to the altar with someone else?" He gave a cold laugh, his voice hoarse with fury. "So you chose the wedding day to secretly get an abortion? Naya, what do I mean to you?" I looked up, my eyes red-rimmed but still firm. Should I have given birth to a child to grow up with no status? An official child without a father, the child of a woman cursed as a homewrecker? To live its entire life subjected to scorn and mockery? Liam, I hadn't finished speaking before he cut me off. "I'll marry you." I was stunned. "What did you say?" "I'll marry you," he repeated, slower and clearer this time, as if afraid I hadn't heard. He leaned down and kissed my forehead, my cheek, each kiss like a belated apology. "You know what?" His voice was deep in my ear. "Standing at the altar with Samantha, I only thought of you. I thought you in a wedding dress would surely be more beautiful than anyone. Naya, I give up, I can't overcome you. I realized that with Samantha, it was just habit, but you are my heart." And just as he uttered those words, the operating room doors burst open, reporters swarming in like a broken dam. Flashbulbs flared throughout the hospital hallway. Liam paid them no mind. Before the cameras, he knelt, pulled out a sparkling ring that originally belonged to someone else, and placed it on my finger. He gently kissed the back of my hand, his eyes filled with fervent emotion. "Marry me, Naya." Liam and Samantha broken up. Liam left the wedding. Scumbag man, homewrecker woman, undeserving to live destroyer. My family tree was dug up, and my ancestors were cursed for 3 generations on Weibo. Netizens sent death curses my way and enthusiastically created reverse stories with me as the villain. I didn't care one bit. Reputation? How could it be more important than what I held in my hand? I was certain that among those thousands of curses, someone couldn't bear to let me be troubled. Just a few hours later, the hot search articles silently disappeared. The bloggers who had criticized me found their accounts deleted and received legal letters. On Weibo, Liam himself posted, "When I came to Naya, I had already ended things with it Samantha. Both of us were single, there was no intrusion, no third party. To anyone spreading false information or disparaging my wife, please remember that the Lu Group's legal department is not just for show. If anyone is scum, it is me, not her." To be honest, this man, though truly a philanderer, never cheated. Only after completely ending things with Samantha did he start a new relationship. But netizens didn't care about the truth. In their eyes, every woman who passed through Liam's life was a homewrecker. The only difference this time was that the tide had turned. He spent money to hire an entire team of trolls to control comments, forcing public opinion to side with me. Does anyone else think CEO Liam and Naya are getting more affectionate by the day? They're practically perfect for each other. Come to think of it, it's true, nothing wrong with it. One is unmarried, the other is single, so why shy away from loving each other? To be frank, their relationship is clear, no secrets. Not to mention they were even publicly engaged. I heard, if you look closely, Samantha was actually the one intruding. I understood. Everything happening was orchestrated by Liam. He wanted to prove that his heart now belonged only to me. Without any concealment, he expressed his stance through every possible means, and I finally nodded, accepting his proposal. Immediately, this news shot straight to the top of the hot searches. Alongside it, a series of other shocking headlines appeared. #Samantha severe depression. Samantha suicide attempt suspected. Of course, the news of her death was just a fabricated rumor. People like Samantha, who seemed invulnerable, couldn't possibly leave this world so easily. Liam didn't even bother with those old, stale theatrics. "Don't pay attention to her. She's definitely just putting on a show to lure me into meeting her." he said casually, utterly unshaken. Indeed, when men are in love, they cherish you like a fragile egg, but once the affection is gone, you're discarded like trash. No matter how much Samantha faked it, her pain was certainly real, but to Liam, everything had become an annoyance. Knowing she couldn't sway her ex, she started turning her attention to me. Sometimes she would hurl disgusting insults at me. Other times she would feign weakness, recounting their past love story, even kneeling and pleading, "Please, just give Liam back to me. I beg you, I'll do anything you want. I implore you, okay?" Every time I saw her like that, my food tasted infinitely better. I could eat 3 bowls without getting tired of it. Later, her messages became increasingly deranged, like someone losing their mind. Sometimes she'd call me by his name, reminiscing about old memories. Other times, she'd threaten to tear me to pieces, then turn to self-harm, hitting herself until her face turned red over the phone. The rumors of her severe depression were clearly not false, and I never expected someone to lose their mind over a breakup like this. But I found it entertaining. Let her go crazy. The crazier she got, the more I enjoyed it. I didn't mind playing the stereotypical other woman. In the eyes of the public, every day I would text her updates on the passionate moments between Liam and me, like sprinkling salt on an oozing wound. I told her Liam had burned everything she had ever given him, from a handwritten letter in middle school to the birthday bracelet from last year, not a single piece left. Not only that, I even filmed the scene and sent it to her. On the other end of the line, Samantha's screams echoed like a cornered beast. "I'll kill you, you vile bitch, I swear I'll kill you." Truly an endlessly amusing clown act, and I reveled in it even more. Feigning nonchalance, I added a few more venomous words. "Oh, and by the way, Liam and I are holding our wedding at the exact hotel where you left your wedding unfinished. At first, he was worried it might be bad luck, but I thought the place was beautiful, so we're keeping it. If you're free, remember to come celebrate with us, okay? I've already had someone send you an invitation." This time, Liam organized an even grander wedding than before to demonstrate my position in his heart. And a grand, public wedding inevitably attracts onlookers, which also meant it easily created opportunities for those who wished to sabotage it. Amidst the festive atmosphere, Liam's eyes were fixed solely on me. He smiled incessantly, his mouth repeating the same phrase over and over. "Naya, you are truly so beautiful that I want to gaze at you for a lifetime." I wasn't too concerned. My gaze quietly swept across the hall, searching for a familiar face, the uninvited guest. And then I saw her, lurking in the shadows like a thief. The corner of my lips curved into a meaningful smile. "Liam, I'm feeling a bit dizzy. I'll step outside for some fresh air and be right back, okay?" After all, the ceremony hadn't even begun. It wouldn't matter if I took a stroll. The most important thing is if I didn't create an opening, how would she get a chance to act? He nodded, gently instructing, "Go quickly and come back. Don't make me wait too long." I chose an outdoor spot, perfectly close enough for anyone to see if something happened, but also far enough to prevent anyone from intervening too soon. The moment she saw me leave alone, Samantha quietly approached. I pretended not to notice, gently supporting my belly, which had begun to swell. The pregnancy was past its 4th month, and although the wedding dress was redesigned, my figure couldn't completely conceal its trace. Just as I predicted, Samantha's eyes immediately latched onto my movements, finally locking onto the bulge beneath my wedding dress. Unprepared, she suddenly lunged, pulling a fruit knife from her sleeve, and frantically stabbed straight into my abdomen. "Ugh!" A scream tore through the air. The scene immediately erupted into chaos, shouts, and hurried footsteps surging through the magnificent wedding hall. Liam reacted like lightning, without hesitation delivering a lethal kick that sent Samantha flying backward. Then he rushed over, his hands trembling as he embraced me, his bloodshot eyes filled with panic. "Don't be scared, Naya, it'll be okay, I'm here." But I wasn't scared at all. The position I had intentionally chosen from the beginning only injured soft tissue. It didn't touch any internal organs. But the baby no longer had a chance. And that was always part of my plan. I never truly wanted to have a child. Liam kept repeating words of comfort, his voice choked. His hands clutched mine tightly, as if afraid I would vanish. Since we met, I had never seen him so out of control. The sight filled me with utter gratification. Before consciousness faded into darkness, I thought, someone is about to pay the price. I fell into a coma for 3 days. The stab wound was not life-threatening, but my body was too exhausted from prolonged stress, completely spent after the shock. When I opened my eyes, the first news I heard was good news. Samantha had been arrested. The attack happened live on air. Millions of people witnessed firsthand the moment she frantically lunged to murder me. Even with the Samantha family's backing, they couldn't whitewash this crime. Moreover, they were just a well-off family, not powerful enough to manipulate the law. All this time, Samantha had been free to act atrociously thanks to Liam's indulgence. But now, she had not only nearly killed the woman he loved, but also caused the death of his unborn child. What reason did he have to protect her anymore? Not strangling her himself was already a huge concession. Right there in the wedding hall, she was handcuffed and dragged away under the gaze of countless people. But that wasn't the end of it. Just a few days later, a continuous stream of accusations appeared online. The past victims, who had been numbered 1 to 17 by Samantha's fans, or they themselves, one by one spoke out. Public opinion exploded. They were girls who had been trampled, attacked in jealous rages, humiliated, even physically and mentally harmed. All because Samantha wanted to clear the path to keep her man. Each voice, once thought lost to oblivion, now collectively rose, demanding justice. Over a year ago, when I began to approach Liam, I had secretly sought out their families, quietly building an alliance. Together, we gathered evidence, shared information, and supported each other every step of the way in our journey to bring down the Princess Samantha. And today, we succeeded. She carried the weight of dozens of lives on her shoulders. Now, with no one left to protect her, the path ahead led only to an abyss. The only thing I didn't expect was that she wouldn't live to see her trial. One night, no one knows how, Samantha got hold of a ballpoint pen. She took advantage of the darkness and lack of guards, using that very pen to stab herself in the throat. Death didn't come quickly. Her blood flowed endlessly, drop by drop, throughout the night like a chilling dirge. When the guard discovered her, she was already cold. I still married Liam. 3 years. He treated me like a precious treasure, but throughout those 3 years, I secretly collected every piece of incriminating evidence he tried to hide beneath his glamorous facade. Corruption, money laundering, shielding criminals, destroying evidence, including the disposal of a body for Samantha years ago. Every charge was meticulously documented by me, not a single word missed. Until one day, the police raided the villa in the dead of night. Liam looked at me as if his soul had been ripped from his body. "Why?" he whispered, as if he couldn't believe it. "Naya, why did you do this? I love you." I let out a brittle, bittersweet laugh. "You love me?" I stepped forward, my gaze icy as I looked at his cuffed hands. "Trash like you, no one would mourn your demise. If not for you, Samantha wouldn't have treated human lives as a game. You are also a criminal. Both of you are devils in human skin, neither deserves forgiveness." After the trial, I proactively filed for divorce. Thanks to the evidence he had painstakingly concealed, I won the majority of his assets. The sum was so vast it was enough to change a person like me's life forever. But I didn't keep it for myself. I shared it with the other victims, those who had once fallen in the darkness. Now, they could finally step into the light. The ghosts named Samantha and Liam were buried forever. We, the ones who were hurt, could finally smile and live on.